Slater.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Raper.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Epperson.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Alford.
Here.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Mull.
Yes.
Peak.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
It's 12 in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent.
Thank you, madam. Now report from the county mayor, Mayor Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. I passed out a resolution to you, each one of you, for Sheriff's Department, Axon Enterprises. I forgot to give that to you at the work session, but I respectfully ask that you approve this resolution. It doesn't have to be bid or sole provider, but it's to allow for some cameras to go in the, what do you call those, interview rooms at the Sheriff's Department. So if you would approve that resolution so we can move forward with that, and it is budgeted, I would appreciate it.
I'll make a motion with Bill.
Second by Commissioner, motion by Commissioner Cry, second by Commissioner Thompson. Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Slater.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Raper.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Epperson.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Mull.
Yes.
Peak.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
It's 12 in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. The only thing else I have is just to tell you that for my family, each one of you and everyone, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a happy, safe, and prosperous New Year. Look forward to working with you for some time to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I entertain a motion for consent agenda. Commissioner Hughes, second by Commissioner Winters. Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Slater.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Raper.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Epperson.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Mull.
Yes.
Peak.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
It's 12 in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent.
Thank you, madam. Now reports from committees and our districts. We'll start with my left, Commissioner Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Had a conversation today with a TDOT representative who will be leading TDOT's communication with us. Appreciate your help, Mr. Chairman, in this. Lori, in helping communication with TDOT. What I'd like for us to look at is in the late part of January, 1st of February, is that the TDOT representatives that I've chatted with, and some of us have chatted with, come here and share their plan. They're going to have a plan of communication, is what I was told today. That will give us interval by interval, quarterly by quarterly communication and other direct communication we'll need. What I think we've asked for is that they communicate with us individually, their office, Lori's office, and even us that are on the 60 highway corridor, where it's our neighbors that we're talking about, and then have a general communication that's to all of us with TDOT. So that was agreed upon with Adam, that the person that I've been in contact with, that we'll be looking in late January, 1st of February, to get the communication that we're going to need for 60 highway, and have it done in a routine way so that we'll all get general communication, but the specifics for like our subdivision I live in and several in front of me, and then the next one, and then all the way over to Commissioner Epperson and Commissioner Hughes' section of their district, is to get communication to us so we can tell our neighbors at the same time. So it looks good, and of course I was not trying to make the meeting to TDOT in the last conversation, just emotion, can I push you, let's get this done, and I appreciate that response. Also from Simpson Construction, that will be doing a lot of this work, there's communication from them, and they'll let us know. So I think we're going to, as it gets rolling, get the communication to help our constituents figure out how to get through there. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
We'll look to get them on work session during that time frame.
We'll get back in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Raker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 3 or 4 bullet points that I want to make, and then toward the end, I have something that I think every person in the room will enjoy. First of all, Saturday night I attended the Republican Women's Dinner. I wanted to thank Gayla Miller. She did a great job of organizing that, and it was a lot of fun. Next thing is recently several of us were ringing bells at Walmart for Salvation Army, and I'm gonna give my wife credit. She was also with me, and we also had a great deal of fun with that. Those of you that are Bama fans, such as the one sitting next to me, I was wearing a Santa orange and white cap. So anyway, the next one I want to also say a thing about TDOT. I've been in ongoing communications with them about the sign at Crown Colony and at Lenox Hills, the cemetery. First of all, they have assured me that the cemetery will not be breached in any way, and we are working toward the sign. I've sent a couple of emails, and so anyway, things are heading in the correct direction there. The last one, and this is one that I'm going to deem as much more important, and this is really, it gives me pleasure to do this, but I'm going to begin by doing this in an unusual way. I would like, if we could, any person that's a veteran, and I want to point out the three that are on the commission with Commissioner Blake and Commissioner Cry and Commissioner Thompson. Any veteran in here, if you would stand for just a moment, please. I want to say this. I'm going to begin by saying that thank you for Jesus Christ and His birth we're about to celebrate. And I was thinking over the weekend that because of people like you, we have those freedoms in America. And with every time that you have a freedom, there are sacrifices that go with that. And think of not only the sacrifices you have made, but think of the sacrifice that our Savior made on the cross. So thank you very much. I sure appreciate your service. And if you will be seated, and then I'm going to go into the introduction that I was leading up to. Today I have the pleasure of having a veteran of the U.S. Navy, Korean War, Vietnam War, and Cuban crisis, and a lot of things in between that. He was involved in the Santa Maria hijacking in 1961, and his daughter has written a book about him, and it is extremely interesting, and I can't say enough of how much I'm so appreciative of these veterans. And I want to recognize him, and if you feel like standing, that will be great. But if not, just tip your cap. But at this time, I want to recognize Chief Bosun Mate E7, and he spent 22 years, Mr. James Willis Stokes. Thank you. Thank you again for your service, and we are so appreciative. And I also want to say this as a conclusion thing: we do not expect you to stay for the commission meeting. So if you want to exit, that will be just fine, and we will not harbor that against you at all. Thank you for coming again, and we sure appreciate your service.
You ready?
It didn't take you long to realize you were going to just stay for this, correct, sir? I don't blame you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Davis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a couple of updates. The SPCA was here last week. We did have a meeting scheduled for December the 22nd. We've decided to move that to February the 16th at 12 o'clock in the Louis Offord Conference Room. We have a lot of stuff going on in January in regards to fundraising, and so we're hopeful that in February we'll be able to give some pretty sizable updates in terms of how much money we have raised. Several of you asked me after the meeting what were the other opportunities that we had, and so we have some different areas of the building that are up for donation. We have the reception and the lobby naming rights already purchased. Those were for $150,000. The adoption room naming rights have been purchased for $25,000. The reception desk has already been purchased for $10,000, and the surgery room has been purchased for $20,000. There are some brick naming rights that are up for donations. Those are $250. And then we have some cat colony, dog kennel naming rights for $1,000 and $2,500 that are also up. So I would also like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Oswald in the 5th District, and I too would like to wish everyone a safe Merry Christmas and a safe New Year.
Thank you, Madam. Mr. Thompson.
Merry Christmas.
Commissioner Crott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Education Committee that was scheduled for January the 10th will be rescheduled. I'll let you know a firm date on that. Eventually, we're going to get this meeting held, and we're going to get it taken care of. We will let you know when we get the meeting. Everything else in the 2nd District is doing fine to my knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Peak.
I have nothing, Mr. Chairman. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Quick update. The efforts continue with respects to the tire cleanup. This past Friday, we were over at 6th District, I'm sorry, not 6th District, 6th Street, and picked up 408 tires and got them properly disposed of. And I believe they're scheduling the cleanups for next year, and then working with the manager over at the landfill and stuff like that. So there's a lot more to this than we ever thought when we first started this or whatever, but we're doing our part as far as educating people on the laws and stuff like that, prevention and cleanup. On the same kind of thought, Keep America Beautiful has scheduled the annual breakfast, the Great American Breakfast, formerly known as Solid Waste Breakfast. I didn't like that name. So I made it, changed it. If I'm going to be on that board, we're going to. So we changed the name of the breakfast. It'll be April 1st. And we've secured the museum, so hopefully your schedules will allow you to attend that. With that, Mr. Chairman, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. If you're traveling, be safe. This past weekend, I had to go down to Atlanta to pick up my oldest son, which should have been an easy 4 or 5 hour trip. Turned out to be like an 18-hour trip because we stuck on I-75 for about 6 hours just sitting there. I know. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Allen.
I just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I see a lot of petitions being picked up and a lot of petitions getting signed. Just looking forward to signing any that somebody wants me to sign right now. Other than that, the 2nd District's doing well. Just caution everybody that we're in the election year. It's time to be on our best behavior and be careful what you say out in public because people are always listening and hearing things.
Will you sign mine?
Well, it won't be any good for you, but it'll be all right.
Thank you, Mr. Alford. Commissioner Hughes.
Chairman Blake, will the solid waste breakfast still have the same food that's always been there? Will that change also? Because it was really good food.
The food will be great. I promise you that, but it will not be solid waste breakfast.
I'm just checking.
It's an April Fool's joke.
But
no, it's not an April Fool. I really did make a motion to change that name.
Mr. Chairman, I'm excited to say that the air monitoring system is up and running at the road department now. If anyone has an opportunity to visit the road department and check the system out, they should do so. It's, after going through the class, I'm more excited about it now than what I was before. It just so happened someone had called in and made a complaint. We were able to go to the monitor and see the issue. So it was just that quickly to check it out. It was amazing. So I truly believe that all the commissioners that had a part to do with it should really go down and check it out. It really is that good of a system. But otherwise, everyone have a Merry Christmas and a safe, Happy New Year.
Thanks so much. Mr. Allen?
Just a question, when you went and checked that monitor, what did you find out?
There was one gas that was up a little high on it, that it was showing, that it was like the monitor was showing it now. We've got to go, there's always fine tuning you have to do. There are certain levels we have to set in the system, but we have to get those levels to see where it was actually at, if it was above what it should be or below. We don't know yet until we get those parameters set. The road department is working on that process now.
Thank you.
Commissioner Peake?
Did it actually pinpoint where the gas came from?
Yes, it was able to show from the air, the wind of that day and the temperature. The weather station was able to show the air went right through, the wind was actually blowing right through our landfill towards the house. It was really incredible, and it really is incredible. Or I should say the way they put it, probable that it came from our landfill.
Commissioner Blake?
Real quick, Commissioner Hughes, on that, you said the reports didn't really take any type of conclusions. What will it be if there was something? Would we send that to the state or who monitors landfills? That was part of the discussion the whole time when we were doing it.
I would imagine
do
we'd
that
have to
information
report
we
it.
sent.
Yeah, I would imagine we'd have to report it to the state, but honestly, it would be up to the road department to set that procedure up, and I hate to speak for Sandra over that.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anything, Commissioner Iverson?
Yeah, I was gonna add to that, it was, we're glad that we got that system put in place, and, we actually asked for that detection system be able to detect what kind of gas it was, and if we reach these certain levels. And the landfill operators would have to disclose any, once they reach those limits, they would have to disclose that to EPA and to TDEC, or they would be in serious trouble if they did. So that if they do reach those dangerous levels, and then once those levels get put into the system, when they will, if they do reach them, they would have to report those.
But do they have access to these reports?
We can share those reports with them, yes.
Thanks, sir. Commissioner Iverson?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to go ahead and try to see if we can schedule an IT meeting for February the 22nd at 10 a.m. And wanted to, Adam wanted, what
was that date again?
February the 22nd, 10 a.m. And also I'd like at this time to take, time to look back at the last year, and I know we've all worked hard and we've got a lot of things put in place. Hopefully this next coming year we'll move forward on infrastructure. I know we've done a lot with the broadband. We do have a plan now, or a proposed plan that we could implement with sewer and water. Achieving these grants that we were talking about just the other day, to try to achieve a grant, it's hardly achievable to even to achieve a grant without a plan. So we've at least done that, and we've started the process of taking Bradley County forward, and for the generations to come, and hopefully we'll continue to work on that and move forward and take Bradley County, forward. And at this time too, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and everybody have safe travels. And appreciate everybody. Thanks a lot, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to recognize somebody who doesn't publicly like to be recognized, but she means very much to all of us up here, this commission, and what she does for us. And so, Lori, we have a small token gift for you. You don't have to open it here, but you can come up and get it. A few things to tell you thank you and what you mean to us. Here's the card too, we'll take that. We cannot do what we do without you on a daily basis, and there's no way that we could find somebody to do the job that you do, both professionally and classy, the way that you handle yourself, and it's very much appreciated. Merry Christmas to you.
She is a classy lady.
All right, can I entertain a motion for approval of agenda? Got a motion from Commissioner Winters. Do I have a second? Second from Commissioner Hughes. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Slater,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Rayford,
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Everson,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Alford,
Yes.
Cry,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Mull,
Yes.
Peak,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
12 in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving into the agenda, item A, Commissioner Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution appropriating $400,000 for affordable housing to city bills to finance and construct affordable homes in the Blythe Oldfield community as allowed by the conditions and terms of the American Rescue Plan Act from the funds allocated by Resolution 2021-50 and authorizing the Bradley County Mayor to execute an agreement with City Fields regarding said appropriation, and authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Southeast Tennessee Development District for the administration of the funds. Mr. Chairman, I place this in the form of a motion.
Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Davis. Any discussion? Commissioner Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of things, if you may. I see our director joined us today, and I'll ask you one quick question. You don't have to get up, but it's my understanding that the city, Cleveland, has also passed their document or their resolution as well, but I didn't get the amount. Do you?
It's to match.
For 400,000 as well?
Yes.
Thank you. So that's good news. So that helps them know their part, and when this should pass today, they'll know that part. And that was the whole intent, I think, that Commissioner Slater had when she put this on the agenda last week. However, I think that there is some more discussion that needs to be had with respect to the Southeast Tennessee Development District. We did hear from them and the amount, and that's all well, but I believe we extended an invitation and they accepted to be at the Finance Committee. Mr. Chairman, I think that the last paragraph here that goes ahead and authorizes the mayor to enter into an agreement needs to be separate from the resolution that Commissioner Slater has worked so hard on. So we can work on that piece of it and then bring that in its own resolution. There's just some particulars on that I think that need to be addressed. It makes everything for everybody to understand, so to speak. The 4%, I think, is very reasonable and stuff like that, but the mechanics of it and stuff like that. So I'd like to, if I may, strike that piece or amend that piece, or I'd offer a substitute motion with everything except for that. However, the procedure is, I think that's the best way forward. I'm making sure this is all neat and clean, so everybody knows exactly what's going on. Do I need to put that?
You have to be a substitute motion.
Substitute motion to just that last paragraph. Everything else in there is great, and it keeps our timeline, our milestones, and everything with respects to City Fields. Nobody's going to get fined or anything like that. So I put that, I guess, substitute motion in the form of motion.
Okay. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it, keep it clean.
Second by Commissioner Peak. Any discussion? Mr. Wentz.
I'm not totally against the delay on this, but tell me what we would be doing in the meantime that wouldn't already be done if you're going to be executing this Southeast Development District administration of funds. That's saying, really, to me, that that's going to be an ongoing process, that's going to be finance, the mayor, Oldfield, and the Southeast group working this out. Is this not just giving approval for that to be happening?
If I understand correctly, man.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Just looking right at me.
Yeah.
Commissioner Winters, I just, with respects to this piece of it, I mean, the resolution that Commissioner Slater brought for us was to let City Fields and those guys know the amount that they can anticipate. And they've also, City Fields and Habitat have been extended an invitation to the next Finance Committee meeting where we get into more of the details. And the same thing with the Southeast Tennessee. For example, the 4% is it going to be just $1 million that's been earmarked for affordable housing? And are they going to do the reporting for, we have what, the 4 or 5 buckets? The bonus is already done. This one will then, what Commissioner Davis is working on was broadband, sewer, all that. Are they going to do the reporting to the U.S. Treasury for all of it or just this piece? And is it the total amount of $1 million, or is it however much is allocated, 400,000 that's getting ready to be voted on, and the amount for the Habitat? Is it 4% times that, or is it total? All these kind of particulars, is it as the money goes out, or is it one flat fee up front? Stuff like that, I think all needs to be talked about and agreed on before we put this in this resolution. To me, it's just an add-on to a resolution, and it needs to be in its own resolution, and it needs to be discussed. That's just my opinion.
Mr. Winters?
But that only, we're saying that those discussions would still be with Southeast Tennessee Development District.
Yeah, they've been,
So we're not
they're having
taking
them
that
come
out.
to, they're coming to the finance meeting on January 4th, and all those questions right there. And once that's done, then Commissioner Slater can bring a resolution for Southeast Tennessee or come out of finance or what have you. I just think that just need to be done first before we have a resolution authorizing an agreement or contract or something like that.
I'm not totally negative on this. I just think it.
But it doesn't.
It doesn't. Negotiating with them anyway.
It doesn't. It doesn't hinder City Fields in any way whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if we're giving you the Southeast Development District and this commission with the mayor's office to put this together, I think that's, to me, it's pretty much what we're saying. But it doesn't, if the majority wants to go that route, I'm okay with that. So I'm just clarifying. Is what I'm doing.
And that's what I want, is more clarification as well. We're together on the whole.
Thank you. Let's hear from a few others, please. Commissioner Peak?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think what he is after is this. You've got 2 different contracts in one resolution. You've got the granting to Habitat, and then the other resolution granting to City Fields. And you also have granting the mayor to enter into the contract with each of those entities. But in the same resolution at the end, you have a second contract for the mayor to enter in with Southeast Development, which I thought at the last meeting, we were gonna have one more meeting with them and get their contract. I mean, I don't see a contract with them. I'd like to see it actually before. I mean, I don't have anything against them doing it. They're the only people that probably can do it. But what are those contract negotiations, or what are the parameters? Just 4%, that's it. If that's all of it, then okay. But so there's too many contracts in this one for me.
Thank you, Commissioner Peak. Commissioner Hughes, then Commissioner Cryer.
I am not against separating it, honestly, it kind of makes sense. However, the next meeting will be on the 4th. Will you be bringing that up to vote on it that same night? It's the only voting, otherwise it'll be the 19th before they're able to vote on it.
We certainly can. But we have a productive meeting with them on the 4th. We've done that many a times before, yeah.
I would hope so, because I'm afraid on the 19th it may put them too close for a schedule trying to work everything out.
Yeah, they're.
Well, yeah, but Southeast will be the one that's handling the
We'll also
funds and
have- we'll
the
have more
whatever adds them
particular-
up, we'll hold them up also.
Commissioner Blake?
Yeah, I just want to answer, Commissioner. We're also going to have City Fields and Habitat at that meeting and work out the detail. Top of my head, working on the framework, so to speak, how the drawdowns are going to work. How much, is it a percentage of the total? Is it a total amount? Because they're going out there and purchasing these properties, and then they're fixing them up, and then they're putting them on the market. It's a nice little process that he has on there. So the money's going to come in real quick, and all that kind of, how that all works, which ones are going to be totally demolished and which ones are going to be renovated. All those kind of things are going to be asked on the 4th, and as soon as we can get that done, we'll bring it to the full commission.
That's fine. Like I said, my only fear is I just don't want to push them in a crunch where they're on tight timeline.
Commissioner Fry?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I tend to agree with Commissioner Winters. It's basically outlined very well. We can get along with those fine points at the county finance committee meeting on how it's broken down in distribution, but 4%, there's no reason to kick this thing down the road. It's clearly stated in the resolution that it's for this particular resolution. And the next resolution, you'll find the same sentence at the end. So we're doing it right. And the Finance Committee has a role on the distribution of these funds. I don't see that necessity of delaying this thing.
Thank you, Mr. Fry. Commissioner Slater?
Mayor, do you have any of those details yet? Have you had that conversation with Southeast Tennessee Development District?
Most of them we do, if he would go back over his questions, but that is why they were here last week. The 4% is only on the amount spent, not $1 million. We may never spend $1 million. The percentages that they can draw down will be in the contract once it's negotiated, which I can't do until you authorize me to do it. What was some of the other questions? The 4% is the amount that's spent, then there will be a separate contract for reporting. That's not addressed here. I think that's the issues that were brought up. There was another one.
This person, how the money's going to be dispersed?
Percentage-wise.
Percentage-wise?
That will be spelled out in the contract, the memorandum with the individuals. I'm not sure how they're going to want it, but it'll be spelled out beforehand, whether it's in 25% or 30% or whatever. They're done different ways. CDBGs are usually every so many weeks, whatever's spent, they send in the paperwork and get that drawdown. So it can be done whatever. And they're going to tell you that it can be done however, but yet I can't tell you how it's going to be done until I have the authorization to do it.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Thompson?
I guess that's the reason I'm mixed up a little bit. I thought when this American Rescue Plan Act came down, it went through the mayor's office, and he's got the guidelines and the way to set this thing up, and you make up a resolution that comes before us to pass. But there seems to be a lot of questions here, and I don't know if your question is what the mayor does or what, but that's what it sounds like to me. So I'm not trying to, I don't want to micromanage his office over there when he's trying to do his job. And we sit here and make changes to it. And if it, I know he goes by, he's got to go by the rules, regulations. If he don't, like I say, then we pay it back. So anyway, I don't know what the problem is.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Mr. Rayford?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to allude a little bit to what Mr. Hughes said. My concern about the separation is making sure that all the timelines are met. I don't want to delay this project in release. So that, ultimately, that's my hindrance at all with it. I don't have any problem separating it. I'm just making sure that this gets done by the time the City Fields needs their monies. So, anyway, that's right.
Commissioner Davis?
If we went with the resolution as it stands, Mayor, could you wait to finalize the contract until after the January 4th finance meeting so that finance could have the conversation with them, bring everybody in? If we approved it so that the timeline fits, but we make sure that finance gets the opportunity to talk to everybody again before everything is final, could we make that request?
Yes. We can do that if you wish, however you want to do it.
Commissioner Epperson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm trying to get a grasp on all this. We've got we're doing, the first one is 400,000 and then 300,000 to Habitat, and that's $700,000. That will leave $300,000. With the four, and this would be a question for the mayor, with the, if we did enter in an agreement and then finance approved entering into one with Southeastern, would that 4% come out of that remaining 300,000, or would it, or where would the funds go to enter into a contract if one would work out with the finance?
One thing that we will address in the finance meeting is just that. That's not part of their contract because they don't care where it's paid from. But normally, the percentage comes out of the grant. If you get a $400,000 grant, you really get 96% of that $400,000 grant. What will be discussed in that finance, my suggestion from finance to finance is going to be that the amount of money not spent in the first bucket could be used to pay that percentage so that these two entities will get 100% of what you vote to give them. That will be a finance decision. I can't make that decision. But normally the answer to the Commissioner's question is it comes out of the proceeds. They all know if you get a $100,000 grant, you get $100,000 less administration. That's always done in big grants. We've got money, though, that's already been approved to you all to spend for a certain purpose that it wasn't all spent. We're going to suggest that we pay for it with that money.
All right.
But I won't know that until the finance.
And thank you. And then one more last comment too. I'm like Commissioner Hughes. I'm in the housing business, and then the housing industry has been hit tremendously, and keeping housing affordable is a tremendous task going on right now. Just your average house, just in the last 12 months, has risen by $100,000. So in these two organizations that I've had the privilege of working with, both organizations throughout the years, they do a tremendous job, and it would be great that we could proceed to go and let these people know, and these organizations to know that this money will be available for them to be able to do and continue to do what they do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, I've got two people before. I want to call for an order.
If you don't mind. Well, I'll withdraw the substitute motion. Commissioner Davis's question to the mayor is pertinent to that. So the discussion about the substitute motion to go forward with it, the mayor will not enter into this agreement that he's allowed to until after we get a chance to talk to Southeast. So that answers or resolves that piece of it, so we can go back to the original motion and then continue discussing that.
Are you okay with this? Is you second?
That was what I was following up. If what she had asked, if that's in place, then it's done.
Very good. Thank you. So,
Back to the
original motion, which was a motion by Commissioner Slater and a second by Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
There shouldn't be any other questions. Are there any questions now that we've discussed it? Madam Caldwell.
Slater.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Rayford.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Epperson.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Mull.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Thompson.
No.
Anyone wish to change their vote? It's 11 in favor, 1 opposed, and 2 absent.
Passes. Item B, Commissioner Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution appropriating $300,000 for affordable housing to Habitat for Humanity of Cleveland to develop and construct 16 new homes for low-income families in Warlock Meadows as allowed by the conditions and terms of the American Rescue Plan Act from the funds allocated by Resolution 2021-50 and authorizing the Bradley County Mayor to execute an agreement. This says City Fields, but this should say Habitat, regarding said appropriation and authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Southeast Tennessee Development District for the administration of the funds. Mr. Chairman, I put this in the form of a motion.
I have a motion, I have a second by Commissioner Winters. Any discussion? Call roll, please, minutes.
Slater.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Raker.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Epperson.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Alford.
Yes.
Cry.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Mull.
Yes.
Peak.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
12 in favor, none opposed, and 2 absent.
Motion passes. All right, communication from the audience. Anybody want to speak before the commission? Yes, sir, come on in. You know the routine, state your name and address, they know we know you.
John Thomas on Bluebird Nature Road. First, I'd like to express appreciation to Andy Lockhart. We were doing some repair work from some damage during a rainstorm up at the cemetery, and when I got up that morning, I realized we had more dirt to move than we had people to move it. So I made an emergency call to him. He was kind enough to send up 3 fine men, Dennis, Johnny, and JR, and they helped us move a lot of dirt that day. I commend him highly for being able to have people to come. Second, Wreaths Across America at both the Bradley County Veterans Cemetery and Hillcrest went off without any rain, which was an answer to prayer in many respects. We had about 100 folks up there at the cemetery, and all the wreaths were placed. We had extra added to Fort Hill and to Sunset and to another cemetery in town I'm very thankful for. Finally, I wish to appreciate Ms. Moultrie for her assistance in the past few operations that I've had need of assistance, and wish each and every one of you a merry, blessed, and happy Christmas and a blessed New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Announcement, our next meeting will be next year, January 1st, Tuesday at 7 o'clock here at the courthouse. What'd I say?
Third.
4th, excuse me.
Oh, let us have one more day or.
SPCA, that has been canceled.
Yes.
Okay. County offices will be closed December 23rd and 24th in observance of Christmas. County offices will be closed December 31st and January 3rd in observance of the new year. Finance Committee will meet January the 4th at 11:30. Everyone have a Merry Christmas. This will be my last Christmas as your chairman on this commission. I appreciate the past 4 years serving you and serving the community, and I always ask that God have his hand on Bradley County and on this body. May everybody have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.